Hello Stampers, Kelly Acheson at astampabove.com coming to you from Menasha, Wisconsin. Today for my Feature Friday video, I have a Vellum Overlay card to share with you. I had so much fun making this. I think it's a very elegant card that you could send to anybody. And I've left mine without any greeting on it, so I can do just that. Isn't this gorgeous? Wow, right? Okay, we're going to be using the Stamparatus today for perfect placement. That is like the best tool ever. Let's get started and I'll show you how to make this. The first thing I'm going to do here is come in with my cardstock layers. I've got two pieces of Whisper White that are 2 5/8 by 3 7/8. I've got a piece of Basic Black that's 2 3/4 by 4. Another piece of Basic Black that is 2 3/4 by 8, and a piece of our Vellum cardstock that is 4 1/4 by 11. Now, if you don't have any Vellum cardstock, this is something that I sell. You'll find my blog at astampabove.com, and if you use this hostess code, when you're placing your online order for Vellum cardstock or anything else you might need, you'll get some special perks from me. So I've already scored my Vellum cardstock, and this is a heavier weight Vellum. It's not flimsy like regular Vellum. I've scored this at 5 1/2, and I'm just going to fold it in half and give it a good burnish with my bone folder. The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece of Basic Black that's 8 inches long, and I'm also going to fold this in half. Now I cut this from the short side. You've got a piece of cardstock like this. I cut it this way, and that allows me to fold it without scoring it. But if you find that yours is cut the other way, you'll want to score it at 4 inches. Then I'm going to bring in the Stamparatus and hope that I don't get too much glare in here. Let's see what happens. Yeah, if I turn that light off. Let me move my lighting a little bit so we still have light. There, that's better, I think. I don't want to be glaring at you. I don't want anybody wearing their sunglasses while they watch this video. Okay, so the Stamparatus comes with 2 plates. I've featured this on my YouTube videos before. You can always go to YouTube and search for Kelly Acheson and then click on videos and you'll see all my videos. I don't even know how many I have. It's well over 300. But you'll find some instructional videos on the Stamparatus. This is an amazing positioning tool that was just released by Stampin Up to the general public in June. It comes with 2 plates that you can put in here. And these are fabulous because it gives you many different options for stamping. It also comes with 2 magnets. Now I've wrapped this magnet with washi tape and I put a little tab on it so it's easier for me to grab because these are super, super strong magnets. You don't want to let these 2 magnets snap together because they can break. So be mindful of that when you're using your Stamparatus. The first thing that I need to do is I need to get my flowers on here. And I wanted to show you, I am using the Blended Seasons bundle today. This is an exclusive bundle of stamp sets and framelits that are only available during the month of August. So these are available until August 31st, and you're going to be seeing a lot of projects from me using this set because it is so versatile. We've got spring, summer, fall, winter with Christmas, and some very nice greetings in here. This is a great all-around stamp set to add to your library of supplies. Also, along with this bundle, you can choose to order our brand new watercolor pencils. This is part of this limited edition, and the pencils may or may not be available in the future, so we're not real sure about that yet, but the bundle itself is only available in August, and we've got some beautiful, beautiful new colors here. I have to tell you, Stampin' Up's watercolor pencils are artist quality. And I know artists that buy supplies from me and they absolutely love the watercolor pencils. as well as our aqua painters. So they say they're just super high quality. And of course, everything that Stampin' Up! Has is high quality. So you don't ever have to worry about that. All right, I'm going to set this aside. And I am going to bring in the big flower image. And what I did, I'm going to remove this pad. This pad is in here if you're using the clear photopolymer stamps. The rubber's a little bit thinner. When you use the red rubber stamps, you can see there's a foam padding on here. That makes it a little bit taller, so you don't need to use this extra pad. So I'm just going to set that aside. And what I've done is I've taken some washi tape and I've just put it on my grid so that I can line this up perfectly every time. I just wanted to let you know where to put this piece of washi tape. It's right on the edge of where that black part is in there. And then I'm going to bring in a magnet here and maybe another one right down here. Now, this black piece that's setting in here is where I want my flowers to go. So I want my flowers to stamp off just a little bit on this side and the bottom. So I'm going to place my flowers right here. And now I'm going to close one of the panels and pick up my flowers. First thing we're going to be doing here is we're going to emboss the front of the vellum with Versamark and white embossing powder. So I've got my Versamark ink here. I'm going to ink up my stamp. And one thing I almost forgot, don't forget to use your embossing buddy when you're using embossing powder, because that'll keep the powder from sticking where the image isn't stamped. Then I'm going to bring this down and stamp it right here. Now you want to give this good pressure to make sure that everything gets transferred to the vellum. And then we're going to add our embossing powder. I've just got a sheet of paper folded in half. This is how I like to do embossing powder. It's quick and easy. This is a scrap piece of paper that I save all my little printing mistakes. And if you need to, you can come in with the little brush and brush off any extra powder that is on your layer that you don't need. It's a great idea to use that embossing buddy. That'll help you keep the powder where it belongs. I guess that's a great way to put it. I'm just going to transfer my powder back. And we're going to put that out of the way because the other day I didn't put the lid all the way on and I spilled it all over. Yay, Kelly. Okay, now when you heat set vellum, you may find that it warps a little bit. So that's where Stampin' Up's heat tool comes in really handy. It's got a high setting and a low setting, and I'm going to use the low setting. You're going to apply the heat and then take it away. Apply and take it away. So that's what you're going to see me doing with the vellum. With regular cardstock and embossing, you don't need to do this. So I'm setting it to low. I'm going to let it heat up here a little bit. Takes just a minute. I like to tilt my cardstock at an angle so I can see what's going on. And you're just going to come in and heat for a bit and then back it off. Heat, back it off. Heat, or you can move it over to a different area, but you don't want to stay on one area too long with the vellum. And I do notice that embossing powder does melt faster on vellum than it does on cardstock too. And I like to tilt it in the light and make sure that everything is set. It'll get shiny when it's done. And I think that looks pretty good. Okay, now because I called this an overlay, what we're going to do is we are going to take one of these white panels and we're going to put it in. This is going to go on top of this little black layer. Okay, so we're going to put this in our Stamparatus, and I'm moving it right up against this piece and this side piece over here because that's how I figured out where I needed this to go. Then we're going to clean off our stamp because we used Versamark and now we're switching to Memento Black. I'm going to ink up my flower stamp with the Memento. Take one of my magnets here and make sure that this layer is secured in place. And then we're going to stamp our flowers. And this is going to stamp it in the exact same place as the vellum layer. Isn't that pretty? So pretty. Okay, we are done with the Stamparatus. I'm going to set this aside. Oh, you might notice some ink that ran over here. Don't worry about that. That wipes right off. I'll clean up the stamp right away. I just happen to have a baby wipe out here to clean my fingers off before I started this video because you guys know what a mess I can be. Yeah, I know. Shocking, right? Okay. I'm going to bring in one of my piercing mats here just to protect my work surface. And then we are using some Stampin' Blends and the Wink of Stella to color this in. And as long as we're working on coloring, I'm also going to stamp the leaves on the inside layer. And this is a time where you could stamp a greeting too if you wanted one. Okay, I am going to use Poppy Parade. I've got light Poppy Parade and dark Poppy Parade. These are two new alcohol markers called Stampin' Blends that were released with the new catalog. And I like to work with, I opened the wrong one. I like to work with the dark marker first to do my shading, and then I come in with the lighter marker to blend it. So you're getting all kinds of stuff here today with tips on using these products. And I have to tell you, if you don't have any of these markers, they are the best. I do not like coloring with regular markers. It's just not my thing. I think they look scribbly and horrible. I use them with an aqua painter, but not by themselves. So I'm just going to outline my flower where I want it to be kind of shadowy with my dark marker. And you want to put the lids on until you hear them snap. That'll keep them secure. Because this is alcohol, if you leave them open, they will dry out fast because of the alcohol content. So you want to be careful of that. Now I'm going to bring in the lighter marker and color over top what I've already done. And you just keep coloring on it and it'll blend that darker color right in there. So you don't see that little scribble mark where I did my shadowing or highlighting or shadowing, I guess you would call it. Now, if you wanted to, we also have a color lifter. This is great if you make a mistake and go outside the lines, or you can bring it in to the center of this flower and do just a little bit with it, and it'll pull some of the color off and look like the center of your flower is highlighted, which is also really pretty. Now you'll notice that there's a little bit of orange on my marker. I'm just going to do this and it's good to go. I love the color lifter. When you order these Stampin' Blends, don't forget the color lifter. You'll love it. Like, I refer to it a lot. Then I'm taking a light Daffodil Delight to color in the center of my flower. And I think I'm going to call these poppies because we're using Poppy Parade and it's just so bright and beautiful. Then I'm going to come in and do my leaves a little bit here. And I'm just going to show you one flower and one leaf. And then I'll color this off camera so you don't have to wait for me to do that and we can put our card together, because this is more about the layout of our card today than it is about using Stampin' Blend markers, right? Isn't that beautiful? Now look it, I am totally not an artist. I'm not an artist. I'm a paper crafter, but I cannot color beautifully without the use of these. And I feel like an artist when I use them. Okay, I'm going to finish up my coloring and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I've got all the coloring done. And isn't that just gorgeous? I know, right? I love these markers, you guys. And remember, I am not an artist. Okay, let's start putting our card together now. This little piece is going to go on the front. Remember, this is our Whisper White cardstock. It is really the best medium to use the Stampin' Blend markers on. But when you color on the front, it does bleed through. So be aware of that, like I couldn't have had this be my layer that I colored on under there, because you're going to see that. So I'm putting it on my black layer. And I've just got a tiny little margin, a little 1/16 of an inch margin around this. So it's just going to really make this layer pop, don't you think? Then I've got this little layer for the inside. This is where I'm going to write my message, whatever it may be. I left this card as an all occasion card, so I can decide that later. And now here comes the Vellum Overlay. So we are going to, excuse me, add some tear tape to the back. You want something good and strong, because we don't want our card to fall apart, right? And this tear tape will stick really good to vellum. So where'd my pokey tool go? Right here. And now we can put our card together. And what you're going to do is you're going to hold the back open while you bring the front in and line it up. And because we use the Stamparatus, this is going to be absolutely a perfect lineup here. Okay, there we go. Look at that. Beautiful, right? Now, what about this? I don't want to see this on the back of my card. So that's what the other black piece is for. And I'm going to put just a little bit of tear tape on there to hold that in place, because I know that sticks really well to the vellum. This is a place where you could stamp your stamp on the back saying that you made this card. I've got one that I did that too. I'll show you in just a second. And you're just going to layer that right over top the other layer so you don't see that icky tape back there. Here's one that I made earlier, and it's got the Made with Love Stampin' Up stamped on here, so that's a good thing to do on there. And last but not least, we're going to put just a touch of bling on here. We have our Share What You Love Artisan Pearls, and I'm going to use some of the peachy colored ones because I think those go nicely with the poppy. And you can put as many as you want on, but you always want to kind of do them in odd numbers because that's how they look the best. Now we've got one more thing to do here. The Wink of Stella, remember that? I am going to get a little bit more wink in my barrel here. You push on the edges and it'll bring some of the liquid down into your barrel. And I am just going to color or paint glitter on to my flowers. And this is just a little extra something that you can do that's going to make your card look spectacular. Hang on just a second. I'll hold it up and hopefully you'll be able to see this in the camera because it really does add that pretty sparkle, that little bit of bling. I hope you can see that. Let me get some more light in here. Can you see the sparkle? I hope so, because it's really, oh, there it was. Ooh, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay, you guys, this is the card for today. This is a Vellum Overlay technique. Beautiful, beautiful card. It doesn't take long to make. It's a very spectacular card to give to somebody. And if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to earn your business. This blended seasons, stitched seasons, and also the new watercolor pencils. We didn't use those today, but they are gorgeous and available during the month of August. You can hop on to my blog, www.astampabove.com. You can click right up here. That'll take you right directly to it. use this host code when you're placing your order. You'll get some special perks from me. Also, if you don't have our current catalog, pop me an email. My email address is on the screen, and I'd be happy to send one to you. Don't forget to click down here in the bottom right corner to subscribe to my YouTube channel. You don't want to miss anything I have coming up. And can I just say, thank you so much for taking a little bit of time out of your day to spend it with me. Bye-bye.